in general, I would encourage each of us to live a life that brings good things to us. Again, in general.
Originating from deep inside the Rocky Mountains, transported through the power of the internet, and arriving inside your tiny earbuds. It's the Appraiser Coach Podcast.
Minisode.
Welcome to the program, everybody. Dustin Harris hanging out in the podcast chair. A little bit of a droopy eye today. If you're on YouTube, apologize. It's not that bad, but got hit by a branch while I was driving the side-by-side around the house, cleaning up some sticks. Want to talk to you a little bit about attitude today. First, I want to remind you that we're sponsored by a great program called Synapse. Folks, I just used Synapse recently in a challenging situation. And that's, it shines in those situations. Check it out by going to spark4appraisers.com. Again, spark4appraisers.com. I want to talk to you about a theme that's probably a reoccurring one on this particular podcast, and that is our attitude. I'm a strong believer in attitude. Now, I'm not going to get into the hokey, the mystical. I've talked to you on this program before about my thoughts regarding The Secret. I think there's a lot of truth in that book, and there's a lot that's left out. I'm not one that believes that if you wish hard enough that a bag of money is going to drop into your lap as you sit on your lazy boy. But I am a firm believer that the things that we talk about become bigger. The things we think about become bigger. We magnify those things that we focus on. And that really goes to the heart today of what I want to talk about. And that is our attitude. You've heard the phrases out there that attitude is altitude, and 90%, the 90-10 rule. You've heard of the 80-20 rule, right? The 90-10 rule is that 90%, 100% of how we feel comes from 90% of our attitude and 10% what happens to us. I probably screwed that up pretty royally, but you know what I mean. It's 10% what happens to you. It's 90% how you think about it is probably a better way to put it. Folks, I'm a believer in that. Now, whether it's exactly that 90-10 or whether it's 80-20 or whether it's 86-14, I don't know. But I do know this. You cannot help a lot of times what happens to you. Now, I want to pause here for just a second to go off on a little bit of a rampage. Rampage is the wrong word. A little bit of a trail off the main trail for just a second. I believe what I just said, that you can't help what happens to you, but I do believe that in general you can, right? In other words, the specifics of what happens to you on a day-to-day, the specifics of what diseases you might have and what relationship problems you have, what financial issues might come up in your life, what accidents you might get into in your life, right? To a certain extent, you cannot control those things. But I also want to give credence to the fact that you can live and should live a life that brings good things to you. Okay, so let me just give you a totally off the wall example, but I hope it brings home what I'm trying to say here, right? Maybe you can't help the fact that you get in a car wreck, right? But if you drink and drive, right, you make that choice, the chances of that happening go up exponentially, right? Maybe you can't help the fact that you went through a bankruptcy, but the way that you lived your life most likely had something to do with the way that things turned out, right? So in general, my point is this, and then I'll get back on the main track. My point is this. The specifics of what happens to you on a day-to-day, again, you don't necessarily have control over, and accidents happen, and crap just happens, and sometimes life just is what it is. But in general, I would encourage each of us to live a life that brings good things to us, again, in general, right? We're all going to be human, and we're all going to have our ups and downs. We're all going to have some challenges, and we're all going to have some joys, right? But in general, I hope you're living your life that brings more joy into your life, more happiness into your life than the alternative. What is the alternative to Synapse? Did you like that transition? I don't know, folks, because there really isn't anything great out there except one program. When it comes to supporting your adjustments, when it comes to the ease of the process, and here's the important thing, understanding what Synapse is doing. It is not a black box. It does not just happen in the background. It is full disclosure, open kimono, as they say. You know what that computer is doing. Thus, you know whether or not you can use the data. You know whether it's good or not. You know if it helps or hurts your analysis. Folks, it is an incredible program. If you've not used it, I highly recommend that you take another peek at Synapse by going to their website, spark4appraisers.com. All right, folks, nothing profound today. Maybe it is profound. Maybe the lesson today is the most important one that you'll hear today, right? But it's probably not a new lesson. If it is, that's sad, right? If you've never heard this before in your life, then that says something. I'm sure you have over and over and over again. Today is just a reminder. It's a reminder that you have an opportunity to make your life the best it can be. And it all comes down, not all, it mostly comes down to one thing, and that is your attitude. That is your choices. That is your ability to take what is given to you and, as they say, make lemonade out of lemons. Now, that doesn't mean that necessarily you're going to be dealing with crap all day. You just have to have a good attitude about it. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is live your life in light. Live your life in joy. Live your life in the sunshine. Live your life in such a way that those good things will be attracted to you. And when they don't, when there's difficulty, when there's challenge, you have a choice. The choice is how you're going to feel about and react to that particular thing. Just a quick reminder for you today, folks. Love you all. If you want to be part of our all-star team, I highly encourage that you check out our new website. We've got a whole new team there, folks, a whole new process, a whole new back end, whole new membership library, whole new everything. Everything is free. I really mean that, folks. I shouldn't say everything, but 99.9% of everything that I do is free to the all-star team. Check it out by going to theappraisercoach.com.
You've been listening to the Appraiser Coach podcast with Dustin Harris. If you like what you hear, please give us a 5-star rating and post a short review on iTunes. For more in-depth insider information on how you can make more money as a real estate appraiser, visit theappraisercoach.com and sign up for the All-Star team today. Thanks for joining us. And now, get out there and create some value.